Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to do my second review from Brauhaus Bevog, who are based in Bad Radkersburg in Austria, but the owner is actually Slovenian, so I guess you could say this brewery is half Slovenian, half Austrian. And this was another beer, of course, that was sent to me by Davor Širet, who sent me that lovely box of Slovenian beer. So a big thank you to him once again for providing this beer. But we're going to have a taste of the Kramah IPA today from Bevog, which comes in at 6.5%. This beer is really highly rated actually. It's 96 overall and 98 within the style on Rate Beer, so that tells you it should be a pretty damn good beer. And Bevog, of course, are really quite well known these days throughout Europe. These beers are a bit easier to find than some of the other things that you're going to find from Austria or indeed from Slovenia. So definitely looking forward to trying this one. I hope you guys enjoy the review, and once again a huge thank you to Davor for sending up this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Bevog Brauhaus before. No doubt I'll add more in the near future. Davor did actually send me another beer, so you will see that sometime soon. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel, of course, uses a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there now from my Slovenian beers that I'm reviewing for you, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. And do please let me know some of the other Austrian and Slovenian beers that I should be having a look at, because those are two countries that we don't find too many things from, so your input there would be hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brauhaus Bevog then. So Bevog was founded in 2013 by Slovenian Vasja Golar, who was a long-time home brewer before turning professional. But the brewery, as I mentioned to you, is based in Bad Radkersburg, a small village of about 1,300 people in Styria in southeastern Austria. The town's actually a little bit to the southeast of Graz in Austria and to the northeast of Maribor in Slovenia, the second city of Slovenia, of course. But the village is actually on the Mur River, which separates Austria from Slovenia, and it's twinned with the town of Gornja Radgona on the other side. So Vasja actually chose to open his brewery in Austria because of a lot of problems he had with paperwork, with bureaucracy basically, on the Slovenian side of the border. And so Bad Radkersburg was just 3 kilometres from his hometown, and he decided to set up there because it was far easier for him. So the brewery are actually in the industrial area of the town. They're only a short walk from the centre, and beer can actually be drank on site. If you go on the brewery website, you'll see they've got this lovely little building that they've built with an on-site tap room and things like that. Hopefully I can actually go up and visit it one time. Slovenia, of course, is meant to be a very beautiful country, and Austria I know is very nice because I have been there, but not to the part that this brewery is from, of course. But they've actually been expanding their capacity in the last few years, and they offer tours of the brewery as well. So if you find yourself near Graz, then a wee trip to Bad Radkersburg and of course down into Slovenia could be on the cards. It's meant to be a very nice part of the world, and as I say, it's somewhere that I hope I can go. Bevog Brauhaus, of course, do have a really quite good reputation these days, so definitely worth trying some of their beers if you haven't already. So just to list the other beers in their core range that they have, so there's the Tak Pale Ale, the On Smoke Porter, that's the other one that Davor sent me, so I'll review that in a few videos time. There's this guy here, which is the Kramah IPA, there's the Baja Oatmeal Stout, there's the Dietz, which is a golden ale, the Rudin, which is a black IPA, and they also have Hager, which is a barley wine. So hopefully I can review more of those for you in the near future. They do have various other seasonal beers and one-off specials and stuff, so there's a lot of things coming out from Bevog Brauhaus, so just follow them on Facebook or something like that. And as I say, you can check out the brewery website in the description below if you want to learn more about them. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer then. So let me just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. This can actually got a little bit bashed when it was in the mail. Either Nordpost or Slovenia Post have been a little bit rough with it. There you can see the big ding that it has on the bottom. There's one or two of them on the back as well actually, but the artwork is really nice, and from what I gather you can get this beer in bottle as well as in can. I think it must be they're just doing cans as well. I would have thought that the export versions of this beer would actually be the canned ones, just because they can ship more. There you can see on the back, if you can see the little bee that's here, maybe it's a bit difficult because the can's got a ding, but this sort of purple bee with the kind of psychedelic artwork on it is the Bevog Brewery symbol. You would have seen that on my last review I did from these guys, which was the Who Cares experimental hop. It was called Heniacus or something like that. But that was quite a nice beer, so definitely looking forward to this one. And as I said, thank you once again to Davor for sending these beers. up to Sweden for me. As I say, it's always really cool to try beers from different places, and Slovenia is one of these countries that does seem to have a really quite good reputation for craft beer today. So yeah, so as you can see, and as you would expect, this beer is poured a really nice kind of orangey amber colour. You can smell some of the lovely fruity character coming off this as well, just to show up. It's quite a, it's quite a sort of grassy and tropical fruit note I'm getting off this one. We'll pay more attention to that later, but as you can see, the beer's poured a really nice kind of quite bright orangey amber colour. It is quite hazy, of course. If I stick my fingers behind the glass, you can see there is a degree of transparency, but the beer is actually quite opaque. So there's a couple of big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. There's a quarter finger of a frothy, I would say pure white head on this one, but it looks really nice, kind of exactly as you would expect from the IPA. So let's have a closer look at the aroma of this beer then. That smells really citrusy. It's a big tropical note coming out of this beer actually, but it smells really nice. There's a good bit of sweet malt just underpinning this one. There's some bready character in there, a little bit of caramel as well, but it's the fruits that are actually really catching my eye on this one. There's a teeny bit of grapefruit, there's a bit of a sort of citrusy orange as well, but it's the nicer, kind of lighter tropical fruit notes that are coming out of this one too. I do wonder if there's New Zealand hops in here, because it definitely has that sort of New Zealand hop aroma coming out of it actually. There's mangoes in here. There's papaya. I think a little bit like lychees or something. There's passion fruit I think as well. Maybe there's some Simcoe hop in here. I'm getting a little bit of the passion fruit, but lychees, mangoes, I think peaches, apricots, all of this sort of thing. It's like a big kind of fruit ball. It's not too punchy in its aroma, but it does smell really quite juicy, especially when you start to sugar it up a little bit. There's some nice sort of floral aromaticity to the beer, but it's quite light and grassy as well. It really is. The aroma of this beer, for me at least, is more juicy than anything. You guys might pick up different notes, of course. As I always say, beer is subjective, but for me, primarily, this beer is a big kind of juicy tropical fruit bowl, this one. But yeah, lychees, mangoes, papaya, a little bit of floral character. You can pick up some oranges, a teeny bit of grapefruit as well. But it smells nice. I do think there's New Zealand hops in here, along with some Simcoe as well. But yeah, biscuit and caramel just underneath, and a bit of bread too, but it smells absolutely lovely. So let's get stuck into this. Sorry about that guys, a little technical issue there with the camera, so I had to stop and restart the video. But as I was saying, let's get stuck into this beer then. This is the Kramah IPA 6.5% from Bevog Brauhaus in Bad Radkersburg, Austria. Once again, a huge thank you to Davor for sending me this beer. Na zdravie, Prost. It's nice. That's really good, that one. It's a really, again, it has this kind of same feel as the other IPAs I've tried from Slovenia before. It's not overly aggressive on the hoppy bitterness. It's just got a nice little bit of it, but overall, again, it's a nice juicy, easy drinking IPA, this one. The bitterness starts to come out a little bit more as you progress into the aftertaste of the beer, but it really isn't that. It isn't really that much of a hop aggressive IPA. It's just nice and easy drinking. As the aftertaste kind of progresses, I'm starting to get a nice bit of, I don't know if it's quite pine resins, it's more of a dark kind of floral aromatic character, and almost slightly spicy that's coming out of this beer. You'll feel that on the edges of your palate. There's maybe a little tiny bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate too, but for me it's quite a spicy, kind of slightly darker floral aromatic character to this beer. Around the front curve of the tongue, it's lighter and grassy, the one, of course. You've got that little oily bubble where the fruits are coming out of this beer too. That is really nice though. I have to admit, I do like this one. It really is very, very well done, and you can see, I guess, why Bevog actually are quite well known throughout Europe. If they're producing beers like this, then you can see why. Yeah, but the malt base on this one, we'll go back to the fruits in a minute, but the malt base on this one is quite nice. It's a bready character. It's not quite a pale malt, it's a bit heavier than that. It's definitely a sort of white bready character that's coming out in the middle of your palate on this one. There's some nice sweet biscuity notes to this beer, a bit of richer caramel as well. fruity notes in this are lovely. So for me, I'm not getting the grapefruit notes that I was picking up in the aroma, maybe a tiny little bit in the aftertaste. As I always say, the fruity characters of the beer, for me, they come out behind that little front curve of the tongue. You get this little oily bubble on your tongue, and that's where all these fruity esters come out. There's maybe a tiny little bit of that sort of dark, typical grapefruit character that you normally expect of this beer style. And then on top of that, there's the other kind of, there's a little bit of citrusy character in there as well, but then you get the juicier tropical fruit notes. I'm getting a bit of passion fruit in there, I think. I think there's some Simcoe in here, but otherwise I think it's New Zealand hops. You know, there's a good bit of mango in here. There's a wee bit of papaya, light cheese. There's all of this sort of thing. To me, it just has that almost. I always remind, when I think about papaya, I always remember it has this almost kind of slightly bamboo-y flavour to it. It's a nice, juicy, fruity bamboo sort of thing, and I can pick up a bit of papaya in this beer as well. There's light cheese in here though, definitely. I'm really getting that out of this one. And the aftertaste on, as the fruit just kind of starts to fade away a little bit. I think there's a wee bit of apricot or something in there as well. And it's quite interesting, this beer, actually, because it really does taste quite similar to how it smells. The only exception to the flavour in this one is the way that the sort of floral aromaticity comes out. As I was saying, there's this sort of dark, slightly spicy floral aromaticity that comes out the beer a little bit later on, but this is really nice. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. This is a really quite nice IPA, this one. If you like your IPAs to be juicy and fruity, you're going to enjoy this one. I do suspect there are New Zealand hops in this beer, right enough. It may well be Slovenian hops that I've never come across before, but certainly the fruity character that this beer has, it reminds me a lot of some of these really juicy New Zealand hops that you can get. But this is lovely. If you get the chance to try this beer, I do recommend that you have a look at it, especially if you enjoy some of the New Zealand style IPAs. It certainly reminds me of that. But this is really nice. Give it a go. In terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, I'd say it's mid-bodied. The carbonation in this one is very, very smooth. This is a very oily IPA, this one, actually. Maybe even slightly creamy, to be honest with you. This beer, you actually could have poured this out of one of these casks. This could be a cask beer, it's that smooth actually. But it's got a nice bit of hoppy bitterness to it. It's not too aggressive, like I was saying. That comes out a bit more in the aftertaste. The malt base is quite smooth, there's a little bit of sweetness to it, but overwhelmingly the fruity character of this beer is what comes out the most. This is a really juicy, quite fruity IPA, this one. Like I said, it's for fans of beers, people who really enjoy these big, juicy, fruity IPAs. You're going to enjoy this one, but this is probably one of the smoothest IPAs I've come across in all the beers that I've reviewed for you on the channel. So if that's your thing, then definitely give it a go. But I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. It really is quite nice, and hopefully I can try it on tap in Slovenia, or of course at Bad Radkersburg in Austria at some point soon. But a really nice beer. If you get the chance to try it, have a go for yourself. So yeah, this was the Kramah from Brauhaus Bevog in Bad Radkersburg, Austria, owned by a Slovenian of course, but a really nice beer, this one. As I say, definitely for fans of nice, fruity, juicy IPAs. One of the smoothest ones I've come across. But as always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Try some of these Bevog beers if you haven't already. They're really quite good. Probably one of the better known Slovenian breweries, and of course you can say they are Austrian as well. That's the kind of debate about this brewery. But they produce some really good stuff. If you haven't tried any other things before, I do recommend that you have a look at them. And once again, a huge thank you to Davor for sending this beer up to Sweden for me to have a go at. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. Until the next time, it's landed just now. Make sure you try some of the Bevog beers, and of course some Slovenian and Austrian beers if you haven't already. Until the next time, it's landed just now, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Cheers. Na zdravje.